Hi guys.
Hey there.
Welcome back to the
You guys, she nailed it. She nailed it. Keep going.
to the Talkaholics podcast.
Yes.
Yes, I know English. Okay, my name's Iman.
I'm Raazia.
And we're here to talk to you because
Oh, Iman.
I didn't know where I was going
This
with that.
is the 14th Talkaholics podcast. Thanks for joining us. We just wrapped up our 14th podcast, which, again, I think we even say in the beginning half of our recording that it's kind of crazy that we're here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again. We do kind of do a little bit of a, diverse little conversation in this one. What did we even start off with? Oh, we started off with me explaining my experience having watched Harlem Duet, which is a play.
Yes, and then I kind of went on a little tangent.
Yeah.
About my drama experience throughout high school.
But it was so passionate and so lovely and so cute.
We both wrote plays in high school, so we kind of talk a little bit about that.
And it's kind of like our origin story, if you put it that way. That's how we not only found each other, but it was a space that we were also creating art in at the same time. So kind of get to know a little bit more about us and how we got to meet each other, because I was kind of saying in the podcast that I don't think we ever explained how we're friends or how that even happened.
Yeah.
But it was we were in the same high school growing up.
And then we went to the same university.
It was only really in university when we kind of came together and went, oh, we should be making things together.
Yeah, exactly.
Which led to skits, and some of the things are still online if you want to look for them. But in order to kind of keep up with doing creative work and things that were manageable with studying and with working, which is like, a handful on its own, we started this. And we kind of were just saying, like, we definitely like this to go somewhere much bigger and broader than it is right now. It's just a podcast, but in the future, who knows what we will branch off to. Yeah,
and I think we're both very passionate, if I speak English, about, I'm sorry guys, we ate a lot of food before this, and
shout out to Nana Kebabs, it's really good stuff.
But anyways, we're both very passionate about, like, in advocating for some form of creative hobby for anybody, regardless of what you do in your life. I think it's very important to have that creative outlet, which, like, whatever that creative outlet may be. It doesn't have to be art, but it could, whatever that something separate from what you actually do in your daily life. Very important. I think we advocate for that a lot, but in terms for us, it's more like,
I just think it's healthy, like, just to have that touch point, like that place that you can kind of go to and kind of be creative again, whatever that looks like. Yes, I know for some people that is like the culinary arts. For some people like us, it's kind of, I guess, a performing arts / a place that we can write and create and make visuals. It's kind of multimedia involved. And for some people it's more traditional, creating some paintings here and there. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of living through that. The podcast is the example of why we want to kind of get there. But with that means your support, guys. If you could just check us out on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. No, sorry, SoundCloud.
We're not there.
No, we're not there yet. No, unfortunately, but we'll get there. That'll definitely help us get to the point that we would like to be. And I think we discussed earlier that we want to also bring on a few things, like new guests, new people to interview.
Exactly.
And a few, hopefully,
see what's going on, like, what's going on within the arts and media space in our community, and what are the cool people thing. Cool people thing.
It's too late in the day, guys. We typically record in the morning.
What cool things people in our community are doing. So definitely, if you're interested in talking on our podcast, reach out to us. We're open to anybody and anything as long as it's appropriate.
If you have any suggestions, please let us know. We're like more than welcome to like hear from you guys. Again, we always ask this. We're waiting on you guys. We're gonna have all the pieces of the world for this. But until the next time, guys, please check us out everywhere, and
enjoy.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the 14th episode of the Talkaholics podcast. We're ripping through these, Iman, very quickly.
Wow. Yeah.
Almost at 15. Woo. A good, wholesome number. Okay. I actually really, really, really want to talk about this with you. Kind of like with Nuit Blanche. about it being about topics that I think both of us really appreciate.
Okay.
I went to a play recently.
Ooh.
Not this weekend, but a few days prior to that, with a bunch of friends to see a show called Harlem Duet at the Tarragon Theater. Again, for those in Toronto, you probably might be able to go there. It basically is a play that follows so the Shakespeare play Othello, but it's in modern day. So
I love those.
Yeah.
Shakespeare twists.
Twist. So the whole cast is instead of like, so the traditional Othello, only the main character is black.
Okay.
But the entire cast is black in this.
Okay, cool.
And it takes place in modern day ish in Harlem. And the flip or spin on the typical Othello tale is that it focuses on a black couple that's relatively young, and the guy leaves her after 9 years of being married.
9 years.
9 years, which is like a full-on marriage.
Wow.
For a white woman.
Wow.
So
you're gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole play is kind of focused on what it's like as a black woman specifically to be left for a white woman. Like what that means.
Happens
like
too often.
There you go. There's like the race politics around that. And
wow. How come you never take me to these plays? You always talk about it, and I'm like, why didn't you call me up?
I'm so sad now. Let's go again. We'll go again. I swear to God, I would honestly go again because it was good. It was really, really good. If you guys have the opportunity and you're in the Toronto area to go, and you are a student and or look like a student, because they don't check for ID, just so you know.
Oh, nice.
Go buy yourself a student ticket that's in and around, I think it was like $25 or $29, somewhere in the high $20.
Okay.
Go downtown and get yourself a ticket for the show because it was really good.
I want to see it.
And if you give any two shits about race politics or about kind of those discussions, even around feminism, I would argue, it was like kind of so thought-provoking, like more than I had expected. Like I walked into it already being kind of excited because I love topics like these. I like thinking about them. I like discussing them. But what helped too is like how hateable that male character was. Like there's no,
I already hate him.
There was no part in that where they give you let you sympathize with him.
Good.
At all. Zero.
Because you find that like a lot of times, like in film and stuff like that, they'll still let you sympathize with the guy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
You were wrong.
I love how like even just for those who are just like obviously not with us right now, but me just watching Iman's face, me describing this play is like the best thing ever. But just like the monologues he has about like him kind of explaining the decision or like his thoughts around other things, it's just like, wow, you are just a jackass. Like you are just pure, like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
There's some guys out there that really don't care.
Yeah, it's like honestly some of the stuff that came out of his mouth, I was like, you embody everything I hate about like, what, the stereotypes of what, mansplaining is or like what feminism tries to, be against more or less. So again, spoilers for those who want to actually attend the play and are kind of interested in what I've said so far. Skip ahead a few minutes, but I just wanted to let Iman know about a section that happened. So there's a part in the play where, so his decision to leave his wife, so the main girl is Billy and Othello is the man. He carries the same name. It's not the case where he fell in love with someone else, met someone, fell in love with them, and they happened to be white. It wasn't like that. It was very much outright.
Because she's white.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you want to slap.
So they're basically like in an apartment, they're kind of bickering, and then there's a part where he just outright is like, you know what, yes, I do like white women better. And he goes off and explains his reasoning why they're like objectively, he thinks that they're better. And basically his reasoning is like, before and after sex and like, in dealing with a black woman, it's a lot more difficult because they carry more things about, how their fathers treated them, how the other men in their life treated them, and they're constantly comparing them to him. And I was like ready in my seat. And at the back, I was like, I can aim perfectly from here and throw my phone at you, my friend.
But you know what?
Ready.
Like, it's actually, like, I mean, in a way, like, it's good that there was representation of that because there's a lot of men that think that way.
No,
and it's so bad.
But it was just another thing to hear it like so outrightly and kind of unapologetically said, and that he really isn't hearing himself. That drove me nuts. Like, I was honestly, and like the people who came with me too were just like fucking. Raazia, I can feel tension coming off of you. I was like honestly irritated the entire play. I was enjoying myself. I like loved the acting and the different like characters, like the best friend character is comedic. Like there's more serious characters throughout to kind of keep it going. But the entire time I was like, I've never been like so more stressed watching something.
I mean, I guess, like, when any sort of, like, media, like, any, like, play or a film or a TV show, like, makes you hate the character, they've done their job.
No, truly.
But, like, I can relate on that when there's just, like, that one character that really drives you insane. Like, because they're just wrong.
I just feel like
about everything.
Yeah, and another thing, too, is just, like, I felt like on the bus ride home, all I was thinking was about, you know, we talked about this before, kind of when we brought up Get Out, of like right after we're done viewing something like that, you're dissecting the entire thing.
Yeah,
just,
you
like,
keep
going,
like thinking back.
Okay, and this is like why the set was this way, and this is why they introduced this character this way, and that's why it ended this way, and you're like putting the fucking shit together. And like, okay, another big thing, just before we get off this, again, and skip ahead if you don't want this spoiled. The end bit of the play, because the whole point is to kind of show that this guy's a jackass, that he, you know, there's no point of him to like to sympathize. There's a part where so basically the whole play like parallels the same couple but in different eras. So now, so it's one's in Harlem in modern day ish, and the other is during the time of slavery.
Oh, okay. So,
but in that context, the guy does the same act, but he leaves for a white woman who ends up being his master at that time. Yeah.
Yikes.
Exactly. So,
well, I mean.
Yeah, so when they're in that era, how they end off his character, or like the last time you see him in that play, is that he, it was just so, I can't even say it because it was so shocking. They make him dress up in blackface. Like, he is dressing up in blackface. And it was on purpose because how he is still able to be with his white master wife, whatever, is that he plays in theatrical plays because he likes being an actor, but will do the whole blackface thing as a black man. So the last scene...
Why would you dress up a black man in blackface?
Wait. but it's intentional. So the whole last section is of him, he's saying like the speech thing.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, which you're not even paying attention to because he's putting black makeup on his face.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never wanted to see that caricature in real life. Like, it was just so shocking to see that image in front of you that you know what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, don't come near me. I was man. Like, so, do you see what I was saying? Like, I was so anxious during the entire thing, and seeing that, I was like, that's so disgusting, what's happening? Like, but it was to a point, right? So, in the entire context of the play, if you watch more of it, you kind of get why it happens, but... Wow. Oh my god, it was so stressful. Isn't like even talking right now, I'm like my chest hurts, my back's aching. It was a really good play though. If you guys have the opportunity to, and again, take advantage of the student tickets, please go. I would definitely recommend it. I've been to a play before at the same theater. That one being Watershed. That was a little bit more environmentalist, but still very good. And we should go one day then. Yes, for sure. The next time this comes up, man. You must like give me the side eye here, like, you gonna take me? No, definitely, please. Yeah,
I haven't seen a play in so long.
I honestly don't mind seeing this one again. And the tickets are really reasonable for what you pay for. But you have to. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. I should mention.
Oh, that's okay.
It was 2 hours.
That's fine, as long as it keeps you engaged.
Yeah, you don't know. I didn't feel it at once. Like I didn't ever pick up my phone and like check the time, which is, you know, it tells you something about how good the play was.
That's good. Wow.
No, have you ever seen a play like on stage, even like throughout high school? Or?
Yeah, I have. I remember. I think honestly, I haven't seen a play in a very long time. I think the last time I saw a play on stage was in high school.
Yeah. And
it was our drama class.
Was it Hamlet?
No, it wasn't Hamlet. I actually never went and saw Hamlet. With my class never went.
Oh, shoot. That was really good, too.
But, no, I think it was when I was in grade 12. Our drama class went to, like, the showing of a play. I can't remember what it was. I saw a lot of plays throughout high school because I was in drama club. And, like, even, like, through Sears. Remember Sears?
Through Sears.
Sears is, like, the big drama.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I remember. This is when,
it was, like, a big drama showcase kind of thing. All the schools in the province, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Does it, like, they do it within their schools, then they compete, like, locally, and then it goes bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
This is the one that got canceled.
Let's talk about that. No, but, I was actually the vice president of the drama club. Woo woo. I think grade 11 and grade 12. I think that's what it was.
Sounds right.
I was in the drama club all throughout high school, but I was the VP for grade 11 and grade 12, or just grade 12. I can't remember. But I wrote my first play in grade 11, and I completely wrote it by myself. I wrote it throughout the summer. The summer before grade 11, I wrote it because I knew, like, they take student plays, and I was like, I want to write one this year. And it was cringe. It was, I don't know if you remember. Did you see the showcase that year? What? 2000?
No, I saw 11, 12s. I saw 12s, only remember.
You were in the play when we were in grade 12, right?
Yeah,
you were in, whose play was it? It was your play! Oh my god! Oh yeah!
I was like, this is going to be a perfect segue to something else, but okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, you wrote a play. Anyways, grade 11. Grade 11, I wrote a play called What Happened to Josh Turner.
Okay. I think you might have mentioned this to me. Okay, not on the podcast, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it was called What Happened to Josh Turner.
Yeah.
It was so cringy, okay? But whatever. I was young. And basically the plot was about so cliche.
Yeah.
But I told myself that it was meant to be cliche, right.
Ironic on purpose. Exactly. Dramatic irony. Sorry, keep going.
So basically the plot was about this nerdy guy named Josh Turner, which is played by Drewville. Just set the scene.
Okay. Hi, Drewville, if you're listening. Probably not.
But it was played by Drewville. And he was this nerdy kid named Josh Turner, and he was in love with the popular girl.
Okay,
I'm cringing as I say this. Who was played by Priyanka. Do you remember Priyanka?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Just dropping names out here.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, oh, okay.
And so she was the popular girl. The popular guy who was her boyfriend was... Oh, shoot. I have his face in my head, but I can't remember his name. Anyways, regardless, doesn't matter. So there was a popular guy. Okay, so they were dating, right? The jock and the head cheerleader dating. Right. And then there's a nerdy kid that's in love with the girl.
Of course.
But basically, I turned it into, like, this twisted story where he becomes so obsessed with her that he kidnaps her. And it was kind of like a mentality, like, if no one can have you, if I can't have you, no one can have you, kind of thing. Yeah. So he kidnaps her and all this stuff. It ended up being more of a comedy than anything.
I would love to see this.
But it was definitely interesting. I definitely, when I wrote it, like, I have a very... I visualize things a lot, so I visualize details. When it comes to plays, especially plays at MCI, we are very minimalist. We didn't have a lot of props, right? We had
minimalist is the word, sure.
Yeah. we had drama.
Broke, but okay.
Yeah. Our money definitely didn't go into the arts, I'll tell you that. But we had our black boxes, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
So the setting didn't really match the view, like my concept. So there was a lot of light changes, and the person who did our light changes really didn't know what she was doing. I can't remember who did it. I don't think it was her fault. She just didn't have time to practice. But in my head, it was completely clear. Like, I was like, you just changed this. And I wrote all detailed on the script.
Yeah.
But I think she just got nervous the night of. So she just kept messing up, and I was just like, you know what? Just keep the lights on. So you could see everybody in the background changing the boxes and all that stuff.
Right. Oh shit.
But you know what? People were laughing, so that was good. But then in grade 12, wow, I improved. But this time I did a collaboration. With Stephanie.
You were the co-writer at the time.
Yeah, co-writer, co-director, co-producer. I don't know what plays do.
Yeah, pretty much. I did the same.
We were in it too. So.
Yep.
But Stephanie and I, wow, like, I just remember us being, like, on top of it. That play was phenomenal, if I must say. Okay, so it was called. What was it called?
Raves about the play and goes, hold on, the name? I got it. 1 second.
What's it called? Oh, shoot. Can't remember what it's called. However, it was a play on the concept of innocence. So what we did was, I remember we started when we started thinking of the play, or like of what we wanted to write. We were writing our English papers that year, which were, what were they called again? The big English paper that we had to write in grade 12. I can't remember what it's called, but we had to like pick 3 novels and like go through with a theme.
Oh shoot, yeah.
You don't remember what I was
No, I do know now.
So we were doing that in the same semester. So we were doing a lot of philosophical like looking and stuff like that with that project. So we ended up thinking, okay, like let's break down the term innocence. So we were like, okay, what's like when people think of innocence or losing your innocence, the first thing people think about is sexuality, like or sexual, losing your virginity. So we're like, okay, let's put that aside. Like that's one thing, but what other ways can you lose your innocence? And we started like breaking it down, like how does a child lose, because you lose innocence, you kind of lose a little bit of innocence here and there depending on as you grow, right? And what you're exposed to. So we were like thinking of how you could lose your innocence as a child, and like what are the stages of your loss of innocence and stuff like that. So we decided to break up, it wasn't like a one storyline. We decided to break up our plays into different forms of scenes. So we did like a tableau, we did like one full story, we did a monologue, we did a spoken word piece, so it was like a form of, so that it was all connected by the theme of innocence or losing your innocence, but it was all different forms of like dramatic work. Mm-hmm. So we would like one scene I remember we started it off with a scene where we capped it with Manprit. She was our like what are they called? Narrator. Okay. She was kind of like our narrator.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah. No,
so we kind of did like a body thing where she narrated the beginning, and we were all growing. Yeah, that's what it was. We were all on the floor. And then she was talking about like growth and something like that. So we would all slowly uncurl, and then by the end of her monologue, we would be upstanding. And then that's how it ended, except at the end, she would be talking about how, I don't know, like the circle of life or something. And then we would all have curled back down. So that's kind of how we like book ended the play. But the first actual scene was the loss of innocence through a child. And it was a child finding out by accident Santa's not real. So that's like a way of like how a child is exposed to the real world per se.
Yeah.
So we did a scene like that. I think the most liked scene by everybody was the losing your virginity scene. Do you remember that scene?
Ahmed was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course I would remember that.
But it was basically for the listeners. We did this scene where so it was 2 best friends that decided like they've waited too long. They just need to lose their virginity, and who better to do with than your best friend? Yeah. And it was a girl and a guy. And but it was more the girl's idea than the guy's. Okay. So the guy actually liked the girl, and he was like, "Oh, maybe she'll fall in love with me, after all this happens." But basically, so we showed the morning after, or like that after the fact of the act.
The act itself.
The act.
That shall not be named.
But basically after they had sex. So it was like after they wake up or whatever, and they just talk about like the girl is all excited. She's like, I'm so happy that this is like, we've done this. I'm so happy it was with you. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, now, when we meet new people, we won't have to be scared and all this stuff.
Right.
And he's like kind of like, what do you mean? Like he's thinking that she'll want to stay with him and stuff like that, but that's obviously not the case. And basically she's like, of course, like, down the line we're gonna be with other people. And then he ends it off with like shaking her hand, and he's like, nice doing business with you, and he walks out. And I remember everybody in the audience going, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like that was so cold.
Yeah.
But that's the effect that we wanted to have, and like it was nice to see that. I was so worried about that scene though, because my parents were in the audience. Okay. And I was like, oh my god, what are they gonna say to me after this? But they were cool with it. Yeah. And then there was a scene. Sorry, I'm talking so much.
No, go.
But I'm reliving my high school years. There's a scene we did after that. This was our big like storyline scene. Yeah. So this is one of our longer scenes. Oh no, there was a monologue before this. Senna, if you remember Senna, Seema's younger sister.
Okay, yes. When you said that, yes.
Yeah. She was a girl. I can't remember what her monologue was about. Shoot, I think it was like she had an issue with a friend. and like so her monologue, she was on the phone, and she was I think she was leaving a voicemail. I can't remember what it was, but she was saying something to her friend about, like, I guess, and it was more of like a loss of innocence through growth. So, understanding that like your friends aren't always gonna be there for you, or it might, like, your friend might not actually be your friend at the end of the day. So there was a monologue about that, and then there was something like it was her birthday or something, and her friend ditched her or something like that.
Okay.
And then we had our big storyline where it was, we made up this like fantastical world where, like long ago there was a village where that was split by a river, and so one side of the river was like they were all really good people, very studious, education was very important and all this stuff, and then and it was based on like this young girl, and she was always warned never to cross the river because that's where all the bad people were and they would do crazy things and stuff like that. But she was so curious that one day she just decided to cross the river. And then because she was like, I just want to find out, it can't be that bad, all this stuff.
Right.
And then she ends up getting like intoxicated.
Yeah.
And something happens to her. Like she gets scared and lost. She's intoxicated. She doesn't know where she is. She passes out and she's in the middle of nowhere. And then she quickly like runs back. So it was like, kind of like symbolized a lot of a lot of things that some high schoolers, not all, but some high schoolers might go through when they think that they can like handle alcohol or any sort of drug or anything like that, and they find out that it's not all fun and games.
Yeah, right.
So there was that, and then we had, I think our last scene was, a spoken word one. The spoken word was one of my favorites because I wrote the spoken word with Stephanie.
Right.
And we performed it.
Yes, yep.
So it was loss of innocence through the death of a loved one. And so we wrote our spoken word based on like the emotions and how you feel, or like and what you experience after someone dies that you obviously love, and like how your life changes after that.
Right.
And I really enjoyed doing that one because I think that hit home for a lot of people, not even if they've experienced death, but just like it was so silent after. I was like, whoa. Yeah. I feel like it really sunk.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I think, was very abstract in terms of, I think that people, if you didn't really, I think a lot of people didn't really understand it until we explained it. But like what it was there was like this man, and it kind of touched based on consumerism as well. There was this man selling this pill, and it was a pill that will give you eternal happiness or something like that. And so that was the idea of like the naivety that some people have, that everything is like suns and roses and everything's good in the world and stuff, and like there's no such thing as eternal happiness. Like you're not always going to be happy, and that's just the fact. And then so that one was really cool because what we did was there was a salesman, and then everybody that was listening to his pitch were all in sync. Do you remember that?
Kind of. This is the part I'm not remembering. So I'm remembering like everything
It was like he would be like, look what I have, and then everybody would say at the exact same time, what do you have? What do you have? It would be like mirrored off of each other, so it sounded kind of eerie because everybody was saying the exact same thing at the exact same time, moving the exact same way, like, and we practiced that one. I remember a lot because we had to get in sync with everybody. But it was so interesting, and I'm like thinking back, I'm like, why did we never go? Me and Stephanie, like, why we never went further with that play? I remember we tried to upload it to some I don't know if it was like a grant or like some sort of scholarship thing, but like after that, like I feel like it could have been reworked and it have been like 100 times better.
Right.
And that was the year that all the teachers went on strike, so we couldn't go to Sears. And I feel like we could have gone like a lot further.
It was even more further than that. Like just the context of that year is that all extracurriculars were canceled.
Exactly. So we couldn't
outright. So that
we didn't even know who won that year because what's his face wouldn't tell us.
Yeah,
I was like rude.
They didn't say at all. So it's like the mystery. But basically, just to like what I was gonna
say. I talk so much. I'm sorry.
No, don't ever apologize. It's Talkaholics for a reason, my friend.
True.
But I was gonna say. Like it's actually a good segue to kind of introduce or like talk about a little bit about how like Iman and I kind of got to know each other early on.
That's true.
It was, I think we talked about this in the first podcast, kind of.
Did we mention it?
We kind of, okay, so far, anybody listening to all the episodes, which is not many, like you know that we like Key and Peele, you know that we share interest in music and stuff. But in terms of how we met, you know that we've been together in the same high school.
Did we mention that?
Kind of.
Okay. Well, we went to high school together.
Well, now if she's mentioning all those names and I happen to know all of them, that would be so strange.
Yeah.
But we did go to the same high school together, but actually we were not necessarily, I wouldn't say like close like throughout the beginning of it, but I did get to know her or know Iman because she had taken drama all the way through, and I had only entered the drama club, not even taken the class for the last year of high school.
Actually, fun fact, I only took drama in grade 9 and grade 12.
Oh yeah, the bookends.
Yeah, well, grade 12 because I had space for it. Yeah. But technically you weren't allowed to do that. But since they loved me, they gave me an exception because you're supposed to you need prerequisites to go on throughout the years. But I got special access.
It was more or less the reason why we were able to make the play, the one that I did with Como.
Yeah.
Because we asked and like. I forgot the teacher's name at that time.
Miss Prinsloo.
Yeah. She
and Mr. Rochelo.
We kind of just said, oh, we have something.
Yeah.
Like, let us.
Yeah.
And they did.
And they were, I actually, like, I'm very grateful for the fact that we had teachers that were very open to student-run things.
Yes.
Like, they gave us the ability to be creative, and they never really shot us down.
Yeah.
They told us where we maybe need to build on something, but, like, that play I did in grade 11 sucked.
Yeah.
Let's be real, you know what I mean? But, like, they still let me, go through the process and, so it was nice. Yeah,
because you learned from it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was going to get to is, actually, I think we got to know each other in university because we went to the same...
More so, yeah.
Because we got to know each other there. But it's just so funny, like, you explaining your play, because I remember in pieces only because I was... managing my own play and my own script and for the first time my own actors and everything, which is
especially for high school students. Oh my god!
In your last year,
they love to flake out on you.
and they're like, you're picking up on like grade 12. You're also focusing on your studies, like probably the most serious you've ever. And then plus taking this on for the first time. Plus I was doing Mist on the side, like it was like everything at once. But it's so funny that you mentioned half of it because I'm like I am actually visualizing how that play went. But it's so funny that was yours, and by contrast, ours was like our whole play just covered an entire. It was one story. It was one story that followed the same girl the entire time. So that's pretty rad, man. That I remember half of that.
Yeah.
But easily one of my.
I need to like contact Stephanie and find that script.
Yeah.
I've always been because I don't know where it is.
Yeah, at all.
I have no idea where the script is.
Have you like searched your hotmail?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just check your email because you probably sent each other rough.
But the thing is, the final copy of that script, I don't even think exists.
Yeah, same. I was gonna say ours changes a lot
because by the end, before we maybe the last week of performing, like we workshopped our script so much that I think we only had like a written copy of it, and I have no idea. I know I saved my drama stuff from high school somewhere, but I have no idea where it is.
For sure, ours was the exact same thing too. Like the majority body of like the dialogue will be there and will be the same.
Exactly,
for the most
but there was
part.
So much that we changed.
But we had like I remember, for example, our play ends with me doing a spoken word at the very end. And that I changed because I knew I could because it was only me remembering those lines.
Yeah.
So, and I did. And so that is somewhere on a piece of paper that's probably in the garbage now. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a version of it.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I guess...
It speaks to how stressed we were at the time, basically and I think, piecing it together
just
live.
Talking about this, like, speaks to, like, at the end of the day, why we ended up doing something like this. Because in high school, we were given so much opportunity to be so creative, and I feel like not that we don't have the opportunity to do so in university, it's just that we're so focused on doing other things
that
our lives you together, don't necessarily have the time to do it.
It's different. I think there's a lot more like social pressures, at least for me, to like be financially stable to some point, get yourself at a point in your career where you're kind of there and stable, or you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You can't just I can't be unfortunately working with Iman on a side project
exactly.
Something as
it's
big
not
as a play.
Realistic.
It's not. Exactly. Again, exactly what we're on, something like a Talkaholics thing, which hopefully will get us to a point where we can do something a lot more big. And
that'd be
my
great.
dream, honestly, Iman, is like for this to become, if like not just like something that we can just leave our current jobs for to do this, but like be full on something that becomes some sort of like even like production studio or something that like we can do, because I feel like even just hearing you talk about your play and like understanding what my play had done for me and my confidence in exploring my creativity, it's just we definitely crave that space.
100%. And like I've always wanted to encourage, like even when I was in high school, I would encourage people that were younger than me, whether that be in elementary school or just younger grades in high school, to go into drama. Like, I was one of those kids. I was on the front lines. Okay, I remember being at MCI in the evening when the grade 8s would come to, like, tour the school with their parents. I'll be at the drama the drama stand being like, this is why you should join drama in grade 9 and not music and not art. You should join, I mean, art's great too, but you should join drama.
You're like, wait, I'm talking to Raazia. We gotta be careful. Yeah. No, totally do drama.
But I was like, you know, like, this is what you get to do. I was selling it to the parents. I was like, listen, it'll give them social skills. You know, grade 9 drama isn't very, like, curriculum based. It's not very, like, academic based. It's more about, you know, them being able to create these social skills where they're able to stand up in front of an audience and just be able to talk, be silly, just be confident enough to stand up in front of an audience and gain those social skills. I'm like, that is what grade 9 drama is about. Just take it. Yeah. But some of these kids be like, nah, that's not for me. And
exactly. Because all they see it is how's it gonna help me in the future.
Exactly.
Well, but actually, but career-wise, you know, it's just so easy to make it such a minimal aspect.
It is, but career-wise, drama, no. But like,
but realistically, if you know, if it has everything to do with your confidence.
Exactly.
I think, if anything,
like, if I was in a play starting grade 10. I was in that play with Antigone Now. Do you remember that play?
I know.
It was like a.
Is it like
the Oedipus, however you say his name? Yeah. It wasn't a modern version. It was still like
the original. The
one
Antigone.
Miss Prinsloo. Yeah, the one
she spelled like Antigone.
Yeah, exactly. I was in that play. Very small role, but still, like, I performed in front of the entire school or whoever showed up that night.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous, but, like, the fact that once I was on that stage, I was able to, you know, do my lines. Like, that has definitely given me confidence. Like, still to this day, when I get up in front of a group of people that I don't know to speak to, I'm still going to get nervous. I think that's normal. But because of those experiences, I'm able to kind of push past that nervousness and do what I do.
I actually, honest to God, like, anyone who's known me since, like, I was in elementary school or, you know, in and around that age, knew how much I, like, lost my mind over my nerves. Like, I used to, like, honestly buckle, like, under the pressure of having to be in front of, like, a group of 10 people. But through doing things like the play thing and then like taking on other things that are similar to that, and that, like, you know, I did a lot of open mics after that through No Walls, like Green Productions thing, and, you know, pushing myself to do things that it required me to not only create art but present it, which I think is, if anyone has made art before, is the scary part.
Oh, definitely.
It's showing people
are judging
what you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're kind of putting yourself out there, like, personally, like, you're kind of being
you're being vulnerable.
Exactly what it's getting to.
Even with this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're, like, bringing up personal people in your life. You're like, holy shit, this is weird.
Yeah.
To people in America somewhere.
Yeah.
But it just, for me, is so huge to now see me, like, cut to modern day today, 2018, when I'm, like, in front of, like, 50 plus people at work, and they're people who are, like, more than twice my age, and, you know, I can completely look at me and go, why the hell is she talking to me? This, like, 20-something girl doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She just a graduate. What is she doing? Yeah. And still have, like, the balls to, you know, not only to present, but just to be myself, to be funny and to crack jokes and to not take myself seriously.
That's how I get through a lot of my presentations.
Yeah, exactly.
I crack jokes.
It's to be goofy.
Even though they're not funny.
I usually say something about my morning commute, or, like, you know, just to crack a joke or whatever. Like, for me, and, like, the big hurdle there is just, like, not taking myself so seriously. Like, if I fuck this up, it's not the end of my life, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And even if it is, like, even if the thing about public speaking, and obviously I speak more for myself than anyone else, everybody has a different experience, but the thing about public speaking is, if you overthink it, if you're constantly thinking about what you can do wrong, you're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna stumble. But if you know, to the best of your ability, just kind of go with the flow. Yeah. You know, like, it's okay to stumble a bit. You can just say sorry and continue. Yeah. And I think that's what people forget. Like, if you make a mistake, honestly, by the end of your speech, people probably forgot you made that mistake. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Like, they don't care.
Yeah, it's just like the first few podcasts.
But if you, like,
you know, first few episodes, not
so
great. But
exactly.
Hey.
But if you psych yourself out and then you completely lose that confidence, and, you know, some people, like, just walk out or they'll just be like, forget it, like, I can't do it, and you just give up on yourself, then at the end of the day, you lost, because that could maybe ruin an opportunity for you that you were looking forward to.
And it's like, okay, and you're probably listening to this thinking, like, oh, okay, well, when am I going to find myself presenting for something if I don't like doing it in the first place? It comes down to, like, situations like an interview. Like, you know, being able to
be able to be confident during an interview.
Yeah, bringing yourself to the table, and again, in the same context, like, not only, you know, reiterate why you're the person for that role, but again, be charming and be funny and to be yourself, and all those things matter. Those things are what people pick up on, because they ultimately are going to have to work with you. They're going to want to like you too.
Exactly. And especially for interviews, you know, like, there'll be some interviewers who will really hardball you. Like, they will not respond the slightest way to your smile. They will not respond to the answers to their questions. Like,
it's just
I've had interviews where it's blank. Like, I'm used to at least seeing a facial response, you know, something like, you know, an emotion that crosses their face, you know, to tell me, trying to give me an idea of if I'm going through this interview well or not. But what really, really freaks me out in interviews when they don't respond to you at all.
For sure.
I've been in an interview where it's just like stone face, and I'm like, that freaks me out more than anything, because then I'm like, you don't know where you stand with them.
And I think that's because we both are, not that we have like an intensive improv background.
No.
But we're like, we both jive there, and we both kind of enjoy those spaces. Yeah. So
and you respond to what your environment provides you with,
and improv is completely about, okay, well, I say something and it's the yes and nature, and you're like, is the constant going back and forth, and it feels natural at some point.
Exactly. Like, so if someone asks you a question and you answer, like, a small nod at least lets me know, like, they've accepted it. Whether they like my answer or not, okay, but, like, the fact that
they get what I'm saying.
They've gotten what I've said, I'm like, okay, I can continue. But when it's just, like, a straight stone face, like, they just look at you and, like, okay, next. And I'm like, please don't do that to me. It freaks me out.
I kind of both hate and like situations like that. I hate it because for the reasons that you just said, but I like it because it's a challenge. Because for me, it's like almost like it becomes a competitive thing. I'm like, okay, let me see how far I can go before I can get you to crack a smile on that. I'm sure I can get you there. Yeah. But no, I guess like lesson at the end of the day from us is like, you know, if you are in high school and are thinking about, you know, what courses you should be taking, consider drama. If not a course, the drama club, I'm sure, exists in your high school.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Something like that, right?
Honestly, yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you're not a person to, you know, if you're already, like, a very talkative person, like, you're fine with talking to new people, which for the most part, like, that was my case. I'm not that I don't get nervous. It's more like I'm more like a fake it till you make it kind of person. So I will force myself to be friendly to someone, even if I'm nervous, because I'm like, I just need to get past it. So if you're that kind of person, drama is great for you because you're still practicing that skill. If you're someone who's like painfully shy and like you really don't have that skill to be in front of people and speak to people and like just normal like conversation is like is a struggle for you, I still would recommend drama club because for the most part, I'm not sure about like all high schools, but like our drama club, everybody was really nice. Our teachers were really nice. The people that were in drama club were really nice. Exactly. So it wasn't hard to socialize with them. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, if you're in a school where drama is like really like high up there, like remember Unionville, they were like an art school. Yes. Yeah. So like stuff like that where I guess there's more competitive, like for sure competitive nature to it. Yeah. It might be more intimidating. Like people might, you know, not want you there, which sucks because it should be an open space for anybody. Yeah. But like I would still, you know, encourage it and try it. If it doesn't work out, it didn't work out. But like at least you were, you know, brave enough to take that step.
Yeah, at least you tried and you know. Yeah. And again, for those who are just generally interested in drama or have taken drama in high school just like us and are still wanting to kind of keep in touch with that stuff, I would recommend actually what I did in university was I did English for all 4 years. And I took a course that kind of just, the entire reading list was plays. And it was like the happiest I've ever been, ever. Like stage plays. So if you ever want to, if you have the time to take a course like that, I highly recommend it. It is like incredibly refreshing to take a break from novels and like thick books that you have to read that are classics and whatever. Because these are typically modern and easier to get through. And if you want suggestions, I am more than happy to give you guys some because I have a lot that I've read in the past that are honestly really, really good reads. I don't think I find plays to be really underrated pieces of material to read.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the easiest thing to pick up and read on a subway, like a bus ride, and be finished it by the end of your ride because they're short and, again, they're all dialogue. So, you're speeding through it. But yeah, guys, I think we're pretty much at the mark of, completing our episode.
I don't think we were expecting it to be an advice column,
yeah,
but,
also a passionate, love letter to drama.
I know.
I don't know what that was.
But I think we were just missing our roots there.
Yeah, guys, through this podcast, again, like we were saying, it's a place for us to kind of get back to that point of being, being able to, I guess, live out our passions. Mm-hmm. And this is getting us there, hopefully, and gives us the space to at least improv with each other. So that's something.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
That was good.
Thanks for listening. And again, as usual, you can find us on Instagram and SoundCloud at Talkaholics Podcast.
And YouTube.
Sorry, I always miss that one. Yeah, 3 places. Please like, comment, and subscribe in all those places. And let your friends know about this podcast. We definitely would love and kind of need your attention.
Give us your attention, please.
We need it. But yeah, and as this podcast grows, we want to see this kind of become something bigger than it is right now. Mm-hmm. And we definitely have a lot in plans. So please, check up on us on all places that we are existing right now, and hopefully we'll branch off to things like iTunes and Spotify and so on. But until we're at a point where we can kind of sustain something like that, we'll definitely let you know. But again, I hope you join us again for our next episode. But thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.